You're listening to Built to Convert, the podcast where growth-minded marketers, founders, and creators come to level up. No hype, no guesswork, just bold insights that drive results. Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Lane, founder of Session Interactive and the host of Built to Convert. On this show, we talk to growth-minded leaders about how strategy, creative, and data come together to drive meaningful business growth. Built to Convert is brought to you by Session Interactive, a digital agency that helps brands grow by turning messy data and siloed tactics into clear strategic momentum. We do all that through SEO, paid media, analytics, and content, and we partner with in-house teams to deliver smarter results. Learn more at sessioninteractive.com. All right, guys, today we are joined by a good friend of mine, Mariah, a strategic leader at IMM, an agency based in Boulder that's known for blending smart creative with sharp execution, especially in complex B2B environments. Mariah has built a career focused on meaningful customer experience, blending strategy and storytelling in ways that drive real results. Mariah, great to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Tyler, great to be here. Thanks for having me. Always enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, we caught up a couple weeks ago and had coffee. It's always fun to see you and see what you're up to. We'd like to kind of kick things off with just, talk to us what you've been up to the last few years. I know you were a client on client side, and now you're back in the agency game. Talk to me what you've been up to and some exciting initiatives that you guys are working on.
Yeah. It's funny. I have like this really weird pattern where I'm like agency, client, agency, client.
Yep.
I think there's definitely benefits to both. One of the things that's been really interesting for me is that like when I'm at an agency, I get to cover lots more territory. I get to kind of like learn a little bit more of all the multifaceted things that encompass marketing these days, right? I feel like the scope of marketing has evolved and grown over time. So it's kind of like going back to school in some ways, right? Like you get crash courses, you move fast, you have clients. And then on the client side, which I've done a few times as well, mainly with some startups, Series C and on, through to some equity acquisitions. You're deep, right? You're going really deep. So it's not so much about breadth, but it's like depth in terms of, service and offering and customer and all that kind of thing. So I don't know. I think I just like to do it both, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But the first half of my career was all focused on bigger brands and tech companies. So Microsoft, Mattel. I used to tweet for Barbie and another brand called Monster High, which for folks out there who don't know, it's all the characters are not siblings, but kids of famous monsters. So like Frankenstein is Frankenstein's daughter, of course.
Yeah, tracks.
Yeah, right. My daughter has just gotten into them, which has been kind of fun for me because I was like, oh, I used to tweet for them back when tweeting was a thing. But anyway, and then the second half of my career has been, a little bit more focused again on startups, building things, building teams, moving quickly, iterating on things and being like, obsessively focused on things like reoccurring revenue, and EBITDA, right? EBITDA and like things like that, and working with private equity companies. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Well, yeah, the experience is impressive, Mariah. And I guess, that's something I always are interested in, like I worked client side for a little bit and then went to a number of agencies. And it was always like, you're at the agency going through the grind and you're like, one day I'm going to go back to client and I'm going to that. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I love agencies are amazing, right? We're both in it. We love the freshness of certain things, but let's be clear, right? There's just an ability or an aspect of ownership that isn't there, right? When you're on the client side, is that something you miss? Is just the ultimate immersion, or how are you trying to do that with IMM, with your brands? Again, not being in-house, but yeah, I'm curious on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a great question, and you're absolutely right. Like one of the things I always tell my colleagues is like, you've got to remember, we're like one sliver. Like they've got 99 problems. We're like, if we're lucky, we're one of those 99 problems. Because when you're on the agency side, I think in a good way, you obsess over your little slice of that pie, right? You're like, well, this is what we need. Like these are all the things. And like, it's like, well, the client isn't thinking about all of that. So for me, I think for my clients, it's a huge advantage that I literally have sat in their seat, right? Like I have clients where I'm like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you have to do right now. You're building your deck for the board. You have to like demonstrate to your CFO that this is going to actually pay off. And like you need to forecast out revenue based on our suggestions. And so like, I think it just helps for IMM. We can come to the table with a really good understanding of like the actual business problems, like what it's like to be a CMO or a VP of marketing. And you're sitting on what they like to call team one, right? Which is you're sitting with the CFO and you're sitting with the chief product officer. And it's not all about marketing every day, right? It's about revenue. That's been, I think, a huge advantage from my perspective to have sat on both sides. I think like just giving both sides empathy. And then to your point on agency side, I mean, like the reason when I was client side and I would hire agencies, including Session Interactive, is because I knew that, folks like you or folks like IMM are like experts in this one particular thing that I needed to do really well. And they've done it 100 times over for 100 different clients. And so I'm relying on their expertise. And then also knowing that they have a bench, right, of people that are going to help my business. So it's for exponential, I think, productivity, agencies can really, really be an advantage to clients.
What a great point, Mariah. I mean, I think in that perspective is really invaluable. Back when we first started, or I first started at Session, it was, what are they doing, right? Why aren't they implementing everything we're suggesting?
Totally.
Like, what are their other priorities? What could their other priorities possibly be?
Don't they have anything else to think about other than
exactly? And it's such this blinder concept, right? Where they've hired us to run these particular channels, but yeah, there's other channels. There's internal tasks. There's a lot of other communication things that they need to do, and corporate governance and certain things that they need to adhere to. So excellent to just be able to add that perspective. And I think that immersive component that you guys bring at IMM is impressive and clearly has done well for you guys. Transitioning here, like talk to us, I know IMM does quite a bit on B2B side. Talk to me about we all know that buying cycles elongated versus B2C or things like that, which is a lot quicker, a lot more of that immediate gratification on the B2C side. That said, with the B2B, when those big deals hit, and they can be transformative. Talk to me about what you guys are doing in terms of the campaign structure and what as a broad question, but what your process is for onboarding new clients to how you're identifying, are clients coming to you with acute issues, or are they allowing you to kind of strategize and customize around their core goals?
Definitely a little bit of both, but I would say the majority are coming to us with a very specific problem. And that very specific problem is around volume velocity for content, right? So they know, especially with these long buying cycles, right? We know, and we also know that most folks, especially maybe like shout out to the Gen Xers and elder millennials, like they want to do all their discovery on their own, right? Like the last thing they want to do is like pick up the phone and be like, hey, salesperson, please educate me on your product or your service, right? Also, like if you're talking about B2B SaaS, right, the service or the product is like so complex, right? Like that's the old adage and the cliche, right? It's like, what do these guys do? What are these guys doing? And so they know how important it is for them to have really, like to your point, immersive digital experiences, really user-friendly educational content, and really to orchestrate that around the buyer journey. And so that when somebody is ready to actually, they're probably 70% at least through their buyer journey by the time they're going to reach out for a demo, right? Or a sale. So in addition to that, especially in SaaS, right, you're trying to address multiple different markets within or industries. Within those industries, you're trying to address multiple different decision makers in the process, right? Like we just talked about. CFO versus CMO, they're going to have different things that they care about when they're vetting a product. And then that just equals multiple different personas, multiple different pain points that you want to be able to address with content. So thanks to the power of AI and lots and lots and lots of experience in the B2B industry, right? Both from myself as well as the folks on the team, we've really just been able to help folks achieve that volume and velocity that they need, helping them create really simple constructs that their entire content teams or campaign teams can use. And we are calling that Campaign Engine. Shout out to Campaign Engine, if I can do a shameless plug.
I got a sneak peek of it, and it looks pretty impressive. A couple things come to mind there, and actually a shout out to Brad Smith. We interviewed him a number of weeks ago. He runs a couple of agencies, and he was talking about a similar concept, Mariah, in terms of, it's the traditional, not traditional, but it's like quality over quantity. Yeah. But honestly, it's quantity and quality, right? You kind of need that component, and not to overwhelm people, right? And obviously, we know things are changing a lot, but that brings up a good point. It's like, hey, there is a quantity component here. And
I think it's about iteration, Tyler, right? Like, it's like, yes, like, don't just create crappy stuff that like ChatGPT or whatever, like, built for you, right? Like, use ChatGPT. It's an incredibly powerful tool to help you get to that level of personalization you need to help you create faster. But it's what we know, especially in advertising, is that it's an iterative process, right? You have to put some content out there. You have to see how the market responds to it, and then continue to iterate on that. So yeah, I know, because no one wants to hear it has to be quality and quantity, but it does. It does.
How dare we ask for both? IMM is interesting in the sense that it's really has this like immense creative arm.
Yes.
And then, but your technologist, your strategist as well. Is there, talk to me about, because I've, interacted and continue to interact with creatives, and I love their ideation, their concepts, things like that. But then also it's like, okay, we got to make sure this converts, right? We want to make sure this is actually performance related, and there's analytics based on it, and it's following a strategy versus just this overarching, maybe grandiose idea or certain things. How do you work with creatives around that and make sure you're not hindering their creative abilities, but you're also you're being able to showcase and say, hey, this is working, and you're able to do this, but hey, we need to follow this particular route or in terms of the strategy. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I love that question. And that is such a fundamental challenge, right? Because you don't want to, I guess, leash your creative team, right? And like not have, because again, AI can only get you so far. You need original, nuanced, creative thought and art really going into your campaigns, especially if you're trying to get noticed or even just make a human connection, right? Like, it's human to human, whether it's B2B or B2C. That should probably be on the bingo card we talked about earlier. Yeah. But for us and for me, I mean, I actually come from a creative background. I always, like to kind of tongue in cheek remind people I went to art school, but creative actually really thrives with constraints, believe it or not, right? Like, it's what doesn't work for creative is when it's like, create whatever you want and just do it for funsies. Like,
excellent point.
Yeah. So what we always, and also, another cliche, but a good one, form follows function, right? So a lot of what we do, and I actually, the strategy team reports into me as well, is we really focus on like, okay, here's what the purpose is. Here's what the intention, here's what the functionality of this piece of creative is, right? Like, it's going to be an awareness piece. It needs to capture attention. And then what we try to do is spend a lot of time sharing what we know about human psychology, right? Like, what's motivating humans, what's maybe they're trying to avoid, like sharing some constraints with our creative team so that they can say, okay, this is going to be built for this type of person. This is what they care about. This is what's keeping them up at night. This is what part of the journey it's going to be in. And then with those constraints, they can go as crazy as they want, right? Yep. But then it's really easy to come back and be like, hey, like, you built something really freaking cool, but it's not at the top of the funnel. It's at the bottom of the funnel, or it like literally addresses a need that wasn't on, the brief as a need. So it just makes the conversation so much easier when you have that framework and that constraint sort of built in, and you're basing it on just good human psychology, right? Like, this is what motivates people or doesn't motivate people.
That's such an excellent point too. I mean, just the creative with constraints. I love that. Good soundbite, maybe a social share. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll put editor.
But then you're setting the expectations, right? You're giving them, again, these constraints, if you will, and they're like, run wild. But you adhere to these, and it's kind of, it's the creative brief or however you guys do it at IMM. But I love that ability to
want those tools.
They want it.
They want those tools. Yeah. They don't want to just build for building's sake, right? Like, if they were doing that, they'd be an artist.
Mariah, as a strategic leader, I mean, I've seen you working and seen your strategic abilities and just how you lead a team. It's always been impressive. How do you deal with, you guys work with some high powered clients at IMM. There's likely some, high stress, high output, and expectations are high as well. How do you lead in terms of how do you guide the team to remain calm, that cool collective component,
Right.
and making sure they're continuing to push it and continue to stay motivated through that? Because I know it can be tough sometimes for the motivation component, keep ideas flowing. Also, too, I guess a long-winded question here, but as when people, they're demanding so much, and that's it's just intimidating for creatives. It's intimidating for campaign strategists and architects. Yeah, talk to us about that. How you deal with that? What you kind of some leadership advice or skills that you lead with?
Yeah, love that question. Long-winded and all.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a long-winded response. No,
sure, please.
I think firstly, yes, shout out to anyone who's sitting in any marketing leadership role right now. Like I mentioned before, marketing's scope and purview has changed so much, right? In fact, everyone's saying, hey, it's not about being a CMO anymore. It's about being a chief revenue officer and really owning so much more of that pie. At the same time, conversely, so many founders and leaders, God bless them, have also gotten really myopically focused on revenue in a very direct attributable, I put $1 in, I get $3 out construct. So while the pressure has gotten higher, our toolkit as marketers has actually shrunk, right? Because it's so hard to have a conversation with a CEO or anyone or a private equity firm about how you need to invest in a cool awareness campaign, right? Or how you need to migrate out to CTV or do something, experiential in the event world, right? For brands like Nike and NetApp, that's an easy conversation. For smaller folks, right? That's not the conversation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's such a challenge. For my team in particular, I think one of the things that we actually just recently talked about, because we were feeling that, right? We have a client, we said, hey, this is what we think is going to happen this year based on last year. And so we did some really cool forecast modeling on the analytics and data science side. And then there's a big asterisk around it, which is this means that nothing happens in the market. This means nothing happens to consumer sentiment. This, this means that we don't sneeze the wrong way to China. For a lot of factors that we put an asterisk around. And so of course, within the first quarter, we were oh crap, none of that applies anymore. And so the team really was I think to your point, they kind of get to a point where okay, well, I don't have as much impact as I think I do, right? Because I'm in this one little sliver of their business. And I don't know what they should do. I'm not the owner, right? And so resetting their mindset around that, which is guys, this is the fun stuff. This is fun. So win or lose, tell my daughter this too, right? Win or lose, I don't care. What I care is that you did your best job and you tried your hardest, right? So let's figure out what we can own. If it's only 1%, this is the part we can own and this is what we can control. Let's be really freaking good at controlling that one bit and let's have some fun with it, right? Because we're all here to learn new tricks. We're all here to learn new strategies. Our IMM's full motivation is to be there for moments of change, right? And to help folks navigate that. So that's our reason to enter. You don't join the IMM team unless that's what you care about, right? So that's kind of set. That's an expectation set from the beginning. And then the end of my long-winded answer is a shout out to Coach Prime, because when he first came on the scene, for the CU buffs, of course, listener, he had this great speech that my husband and I watched. And, essentially he said, let it not be because of you, right? If we lose this game, you can sleep well at night if you know it wasn't because of you, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the mentality I share with the team is control what you can control. Let it not be because of you. Do your best.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. A lot of amazing points in there. I want to talk about employees a bit. We had a guest, Kent Lewis. He's out of Northwest. He runs Next Northwest, organization that helps early startups and agencies get started in a good place. But he really he touched on a lot when he owned his own agency around employee retention and the ability to cultivate quality culture and do things like stay interviews and things like that. Talk to us, Mariah, around IMM and how, because you just mentioned a perfect component. It's like when you're hiring someone, this is our ethos, this is what we believe in, this is what you need to subscribe to. Talk to me about retention. How do you deal with that? I know there's just a lot of change happening all over the place. A lot of people are on the market right now. A lot of people are, obviously looking for jobs. A lot of people are looking to, stay put perhaps, but how do you create an atmosphere of individuals that are thriving, that are motivated and really want to continue to putting out their best work?
Yeah. That's a really great question and a true challenge, I think. I will credit a lot of our success in that department to our president, Corinne DeYoung. And I think there's that, again, I could make a bingo card for this whole episode. That vibe, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? She really, really is good at not letting whatever stress she's feeling, which I'm sure there is, right, impact the team, right? And she provides us with a level of trust that I think is incredible. So one of the things that's really fascinating about IMM is, we have folks, especially on the leadership team, that have been there for over 11 years, right? I'm actually a boomerang. I started at IMM back in 2014 and came back to IMM because I liked the people so much. And because, I really like the work that we do. I think it's useful. So I know that's not really like a very specific answer. I do think that it's really all about the trust. So like, for instance, like we don't mandate that folks come into the office. There is freedom. And I think what we've accepted within that is that like, you might only be working 7 hours a day, but they're going to be quality 7 hours, right? What's been really interesting for us is like the work still gets done and the work still gets done well. And even the younger folks on the team, I think they feel a level of autonomy. We're a pretty small team. I think that's probably part of the reason why we're able to do that. But they get a sense of autonomy and ownership that I think also helps them.
Yeah. I love that, the trust vibe component and starting with the top and the top down. It's really true. And then, who cares ultimately how many hours you're working? Just be efficient, get the work done and do it well. I love that component as well. And autonomy. I think one thing I forget who I was talking to around trust. When you hire someone in particular, you're not trying to gain. You should trust them implicitly right away, and then until they give you a reason not to trust you, right, or for you to trust them. So little concepts there that have worked really well for all of us.
Yeah, and they'll tell you. If you can, I think people worry about the trust. There is trust and validate, but you'll figure it out pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right? There's nowhere to hide, especially at a small agency. Like there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah. There is that component of
like, hey, you're not doing it. We'll know.
Hey, this isn't a 1,000-person agency, right? Where someone could perhaps get lost or skate by.
Totally.
This is definitely the time of the conversations where we bring up some kind of the trending acronym that we're all aware of.
Oh, I love it.
Yep. AI and ML and things like that. So, it's been around for a while. Everyone's, on it. Everyone's doing different things. Mariah, I'm curious. I want to talk about use cases, but I also, before that, I just want to get your perspective on what you're seeing in the space from your clients. Are they bullish on AI? Are they hesitant? Is there trepidation associated with AI, intimidation? Or are they, as I mentioned, bullish and adopting everything and wanting to be so progressive? Talk to me about that. What do you see in it? Or is it a mixture of both?
Yeah. I would say probably like if that's the spectrum, they're sitting a little bit more in the middle. We don't have as many of those conversations around like, oh, like AI is dangerous or, oh, we shouldn't do AI, right? Like one, AI is dangerous, but I think we've also accepted that like not addressing it, not talking about it, not trying it, not learning about it and understanding it doesn't actually help it be less dangerous. Right? Like that's like that kind of protest isn't going to actually solve the problem, right? That AI might be causing for us. And in fact, it's like the perfect time to understand it. But conversely, I also don't see a lot of our clients, and we do have a few clients that have built their own ecosystems, especially like big SaaS, right? Like they're not going to go out and necessarily rely on open source tools, but they are going to take those models and customize them for themselves and build, little walled gardens, LLMs and other things that they can use, right? Like Cisco and other folks that I've talked to are doing, so that they can leverage the power of AI, but do it in a way that feels safe, right? Like they're not losing IP or anything else in that process, intellectual property. I don't know how many acronyms we've already said today. Hard one. It's a hard one.
We'll probably use some more too. SEO.
I'm sure. Yeah.
We'll throw some more out.
We got to.
There's a moral and ethical component that
totally.
All should be aware of. Hey, don't feed LLM PII. Like just don't do that. Don't share your health records and things like that. And understand that you're disclosing things to an open source, and it could be used in a variety of ways and potentially malicious ways. Hopefully not. Switching gears a little bit around use cases, I'm curious if you can share things that you guys are doing at IMBAM that have been exciting. And it doesn't have to be just AI. There's automation components too. I'm curious what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. Well, and it's so hard. I use it every day. And there's a movie which I cannot remember the name of right now. I think it had Bradley Cooper in it. We'll put it in the show notes, I'm sure.
I'm curious.
But he takes a pill. He takes like a pill and he becomes super smart.
Limitless.
Oh, thank you. Limitless.
Such a movie. So good.
Oh my God. We don't even need to add it to the show notes. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Helping me with my pop culture. But I mean, that's truly how it feels, right? Like it's such a game changer on daily minutia things, right? Like we live in a crazy world, Tyler, where we don't have to take notes and then organize those notes and then send them out to the team as meeting action items, right? Like all of that we can do with AI. That's just one tiny, tiny little thing. From a strategy perspective, we use it quite a lot. It helps us go so much faster in terms of research and discovery and all those things. And then also it's a great sounding board, right? I think there's some really cool things I've seen folks do both in larger orgs on the B2B side, as well as in our org, where you can actually say okay, I'm going to create a digital twin of myself or of my manager, and I'm going to, or my CEO or my investor. And I'm going to say, okay, here's my pitch deck. Now you review the pitch deck and tell me what you think. Give me feedback. So you can almost do this amazing, pre-read coach, feedback giver before you even get it in front of someone, right? And then for me, just personally, and I know I'm meandering a little bit, but I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
I have never been great at Excel. Never. I've just VLOOKUP, whatever. People that know me well are laughing right now because they know this is true. I no longer necessarily feel like I need to have that skill, to be honest with you. I can use my own tools for that. So it's just, again, it's made me feel limitless. As an agency, we are fairly bullish on AI, again, for internal purposes, which I just kind of highlighted a few of them. But also externally for our clients, like I mentioned, shout out to Campaign Engine, which is powered with AI and humans, right, with lots of human oversight. But it just allows us to quickly iterate and version out different thought leadership or pieces of content at scale for our clients in a way that they didn't before. And by the way, especially for B2B, right, compliance is always the issue. Does it match your brand standards? Is it going to be consistent with your other content? All of that are things that AI and a really good LLM can solve for you, right? Sure. Without having to leverage a whole bunch of human capital to get that approved and out the door.
Yeah, that's a great breakdown. We were talking with a couple of individuals, some creatives, and they were talking about utilizing it similar to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's the creative ideation. Are
Totally.
again, select generations or maybe old school creatives. Again,
I'm an elder millennial.
not calling anyone out on the
Okay.
team or anything, but
Okay.
I'm curious, are they, hey, this is, I have my way of being creative. I have my way of ideating. I don't need this external resource, or are they adopting it fully and saying, oh, this is really helping me get a little bit more focus and help me kind of streamline some ideas. What are you experiencing there?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I will say what's kind of funny to me is that like probably the oldest person on our team is the most interested and curious and leverages it.
Mm.
And they set the tone for everyone else, right? Because it's like, I'm out here, I'm doing it. You're allowed. Like there is permission granted. Like go experiment and do some fun things. And similarly, our creative team, and we did have a couple people on the team that were really anti AI, and it didn't work out, to be honest, because it was like, sure, but like even if you write your own stuff, which is 100% reasonable, we're still going to vet it through like our trained system that's like vetting it for this persona or vetting it for this particular purpose, right?
Yeah, why?
Like, yeah, why not? Right? Like it's just, again, why not? It's just another voice. You can choose to ignore it or not. So yes, like for instance, we use CapCut Commerce Pro quite often, and like what's interesting about that is like the quality is not quite 100%. Sorry, CapCut, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
But like it'll iterate, you'll give it a URL and a few product like maybe differentiators or like features, and then it will iterate. It'll give you 30 different versions of a video, like a social media ad. And then you can say, oh, that's a cool concept. Maybe I'll borrow some of that, right? Like, and maybe you'll, use CapCut to make the final product. But yeah, I think the big part for us on the creative side is permission granted, but like you can't phone it in, right? Like this does not replace your own unique perspective, right? AI is so good at looking at the past and mimicking what's already happened, right? And like really, really good at that. What AI is not so great at is serendipity, nuance, just like what the future holds, because nobody knows what the future, I mean, we do and we don't.
Yeah, no, it's those are great use cases, Mariah, and I love you breaking down individuals that are bought in. You're not shoving it down their throat, but it's like, hey, utilize this as a creative partner, a strategy partner. Ideate with it. It can be incredibly powerful, and it's not taking away from your own creative abilities. I think that's a big thing.
No, well, and it's such an enabler. Like, just really quick, like,
yeah, please.
We use Figma so often, right? Like Figma has been, I would say, for our UX UI designer in particular, like she is drinking the Figma Kool-Aid. She is wearing the t-shirt.
Yeah. Great product.
Right. And like, she probably is a little AI hesitant in that, like, I don't want AI to write my stuff for me, or I don't want AI to like make my own visual for me. But what she loves is a tool like Figma, which has quite a few like just enabling fast, quick technologies that they're using with AI to make her work faster and easier and more streamlined. So yeah, I think maybe the other thing is like, you probably would be surprised at how much AI is in your life, even if you're trying to avoid it.
You're right. Incredible at this point. Pretty much any Zoom, any call you're on is going to be recorded. I remember that when that was like not a thing.
Yes.
So long, and then the note taker started being on calls. I was on a call the other day, and I think there was like 4 different note takers on the call, and Zoom was recording. This is like, okay, everyone's got the transcript here.
Well, and then you get like your digital twin to just attend the meeting for you, right? You're like,
I'm not here right now, by the way, Mariah. I'm just.
I was wondering. I'm
at happy hour right now.
Is he an avatar?
It's early enough. It's
an avatar.
That time of day. Future, I've been saying this a lot. Our team kind of rolls their eyes at me too at this point. Like, oh yeah, I've been saying this to myself for years. Like, hey, it's going to be an interesting year. Things are changing, and more so than ever, things are changing quite a bit.
It's so true. Fast tracking the change too.
Fast tracking, yeah.
It is a pivotal moment.
It is, and not just with obviously Google rolling out AI mode and certain things.
Oh yes.
With Corona, it just announced that they've been testing it for a while, but they're going to likely fully roll it out here soon. what I'm curious what you're seeing around for clients and what maybe you think might happen with clients, or stating, why don't we just AI that? Or why is that
Right.
process taking so long? Or, XYZ. Do you sense that clients will be a bit more, not skeptical, but maybe a bit more specific in terms of understanding exactly what's happening on the agency end? And, why you're taking a week to ideate? Shouldn't that take a couple of hours with AI or content
That's a
production?
really good point.
Are they? You think their
Yeah.
expectations are going to be reset, and they're going to be, maybe more impatient for certain things? I'm curious your thoughts there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I tend to be a bit of an impatient person myself. So why does it take a week to ideate?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Funny enough, I think right now some of our clients, and maybe because we do have a few brands that are just a little bit smaller, like they really are like actually doubling down on like, this is bespoke and this is like beautiful, and like we're only using our own photography and we're not like ready, and we're kind of like trying to pull them into this like, no, like for something like Meta or PMAX, right? Another lovely acronym, like you can't be so precious, right? Like we need to get a whole bunch of different iterations into the market. So at the moment, we're still pulling them along. I like what you're saying. I think you're right. There's probably going to be a little shift where all of a sudden clients are like, wait a minute, like it does take a human so much longer to do this than it would take an AI bot. And there probably are some clients that are going to go that route, right? They already are. I sat in a really, really interesting, if anyone's interested in what's happening in B2B marketing with AI, follow Liza, Liza, Adams on LinkedIn. She's at the forefront of this. She's done some really, really cool things for companies where they literally built a whole bunch of AI bots and a whole bunch of semi-agentic AI helpers for a small team, right? So like, I've only got 5 people. I need my team to be 15. So there's definitely a chance that that's going to happen more often than not. And agencies, I think, are starting to take a stand on it, right? Like we're only human, or we're all in on AI and everything's AI. I still am holding out hope. And I think it's going to be true, at least for some of the foreseeable future, that AI just can't beat a human in terms of creativity, in terms of like uniqueness, in terms of empathy. And like, you're always going to need that guidance, right? Mm-hmm. So absolutely use it as an enabler. Right now, use it in really specific places. Don't let it do everything, right? I mean, and it can only do so much, right? Like
sure.
the agentic future isn't really here just yet. But yes, I sat in GML too. And it was so funny, like yesterday, because it was essentially like, oh my God, we're in another movie, shout out Minority Report. You're just going to look,
great movie,
a pair of sunglasses and buy them. Like it's not, like you're not even, and like you're going to walk by them and they're going to be, AR on your face, and you're going to, yep, I'll just take a pair of those. And then they're just going to go straight to your house. So yeah, like the buying process, especially for consumer goods on Google, it's going to be really, really interesting, I think, in the future. But yeah, I think we're still going to need humans to operate.
Yeah.
Hopefully agencies too.
Exactly. Yeah. I think there's, again, I mentioned these words like trepidation, imitation, skepticism. And I think those are fine to have.
Totally. And you should. I think you should be highly skeptical.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Like that's what discourse is for. Like if you're all in, you're probably not doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think AI, right, it's advancing at a crazy clip. But things like AI hallucinations and
100%. Yeah.
All this like filler content, making up stuff. And there's just wild things that convincing an AI it's wrong. Right. That's also
can be hard.
You're training a model and you're like, whoa. And, there's other things that I was talking with Paul Lewis. He's a CTO of Pythian, a cool company.
Oh, nice. And good name.
And about just about that core concept and making sure that, you're feeding it correctly and you're doing you're trained up on prompt engineering. You're not just expecting this one prompt to solve everything.
Oh, exactly.
There's a lot of effort to be put in. So
yeah.
One thing you mentioned too, Mariah, is just around authenticity too. And I think
good word.
In this AI world of so many things, no, I'll just that I'll get the product shot through AI, and it's a woman holding the bottle of pills. We don't need to do a production shot. And in certain cases, there's that element, but I do think there really is. People will continue to gravitate towards what is real.
Yep.
What is this? Is this? Do you think you and I do we want to watch an AI movie? I think it would be kind of entertaining. I know there's already doing that, but it's just like, is that what we want to do with actors leaving? I mean, there's so much other topics we get into, but
no, it's so true, right? Like, probably a little bit like junk food, right? Like you don't feel nourished after some experiences that you have with AI, right? Because it doesn't have that thing, that human thing, right? And I hope that most people, and I think we've seen some backlash from that, right? Like some folks have gone all in on AI generated content, and then it's just like, it is falling flat, right? And people are more skeptical. I mean, you and I were talking about this before, right? Like, am I talking to a real person or am I talking to a bot?
I know.
Like,
I know.
Is that an avatar? Like, for instance, in the influencer space, right? This is going to be a huge disruptor for influencers, right? Because and maybe modeling, right? Because you no longer need to find the spokesperson to like talk about the pills that you're holding, right? You can literally have a bot do that. Bot might not be avatar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, actually at Google marketing yesterday, if you tuned into the whole thing, there was a video that an agency had created, and it was very beautiful, but it was also kind of like meandering. We couldn't even tell what they were selling until the end. So it, yeah, I agree. We're not there yet.
We'll see.
Hopefully, don't eat junk food, people. Eat
junk food. Humans are still a thing, at least.
Yeah, we're not in the Matrix yet. We're good.
2025. Yeah, we'll see. Mariah, always good to see you. What's as we kind of wrap up here, you've got you already mentioned some great shout outs. Who influences you? Who do you look up to? Who pushes you? Where do you get some of that resources, that information? And then and the other piece is any tools or new products or things like that you guys are testing out that you'd like to endorse. I'm curious.
Love it. Those are both really good questions. You're right. I did give a bunch of shout outs to folks. I'm going to get real cheesy on you for a second. And I'm going to say that my kids are kind of the biggest inspiration. And I know how cheeseballs that sounds.
I don't know.
I will say, like, one of the things that is really interesting for me is when I'm feeling less motivated, or maybe I do want to kind of like half-ass something, or just like generally like, maybe I'll just go live in the woods and not interface with humans. The kids are the ones that motivate me, right? Like, I'm always like, like, let's make Ella and Toshi proud today. It's like, let's show them how to do this, right? Like, let's do this right for them. And that applies to probably everything, right? Let's not let the AI take over the universe.
Exactly.
Right? Like, let's make sure they have a future. But anyways, we don't want to end up in WALL-E. I hope that the title of this entire podcast is like movie references.
I think we might change the whole focus of this podcast.
The whole focus is going to be like Mariah reviews movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I think those are guys, apart from the other folks I mentioned, are great inspirations to me. And then, obviously anybody also that's just entrepreneurial and out there like you, like Jem and Robin from Catalyst Marketing, like Adam and Kareen from IMM, that are just out there taking risks and building things. Like, that's pretty freaking cool right now, I would say. And then, products, a campaign engine, we'll put it in the show notes. It's our big focus right now. And really helping B2B clients in particular navigate, right? Like I said, like Breen and I have sat in their seats. Adam Edelman, our chairperson and owner as well, has sat in that seat, and we know how hard it is to be operating in that space right now. And so anything that we can do to help, and we think we've got a few different ideas. We've been in the business for a really long time. Help you go faster, get more done, right? Do more with less, I think is the unfortunate reality that a lot of our clients are facing right now. So that's why we're here. We're here to help. We're not here to get in the way or just, lecture folks on how to do things, right? It's real solutions for real companies.
Excellent. Mariah, where can people find you? I know you're on LinkedIn.
Oh, I am.
Talk to me about that, and where can people interact with IMM?
Yeah, love that. Yes, Mariah Kamei on LinkedIn. Please, if people want to follow me or connect with me, I'd love to nerd out on topics like this with folks such as yourself, Tyler. But yeah, I'm pretty Googleable. I'm Googleable.
Oh yeah, Google my name. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, just Google me. I'm a big deal. I'm not, but I think there's not very many Mariah Kameis in the world.
Yes.
And then IMM, definitely IMM.com is probably a great place to start. Also on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. And then, yeah, we are constantly putting out some good thought leadership on our blog as well.
They are. Yeah. And yeah, shout out to you, Mariah, and the folks at IMM doing some awesome work on the creative and strategic side for B2B companies. So Mariah, thanks so much. Great to see you. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, it was so great to see you too, Tyler. This was super fun. Highly recommend, guys.
Do it again. Recurring guests. Next one, all about movies.
Yes. Yeah. We'll just, if you can make everything about marketing fall into some sort of movie cliche, you'll be great.
I love it. Thanks, Mariah.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Built to Convert. If you're serious about growth, don't just listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for new episodes that drop straight into your feed. Until next time, keep building.